sponsored by Fight Division. I'm here with the legend who has been shouted out many times over the last 2 Hitman Fight Leagues. Pete Miller, who is Condition Nutrition, the guy behind all of the weight cuts, the nutritional sort of like refueling, all the best tips and tricks for the trade. This is your guy. Pete, thanks so much for chatting to us. Talk to us a little bit tonight about what fighters you've got in with us tonight.
So I've got Joe Craven, he's on co-main event I think, and then I've got a lad Joe Dean who's just fought then, he's won, and I got a Gail Mallon who was on the undercard, so pretty quiet night, normal standards for me, so yeah.
I was going to say quite a few. You put on the other day the amount of active clients you have, and it's like just non-stop work, so obviously your reputation speaks for itself because you have loads and loads of fighters. Amber Kitchen as well, you work a lot with her, which is a huge name obviously on the One Championship. Talk to us a little bit. Obviously we don't want to give away all your tips and tricks, but can I just ask you, like, what is the biggest problem fighters tend to find with the weight cut? Is it coming in too heavy, too close to a fight? What's the biggest problem you tend to face?
Probably a couple of things. A lot of fighters compete at a weight class that is too heavy for that weight class, so they walk around too heavy. So then what ends up happening is they have to do big weight cuts, they have to diet down too aggressively, so probably competing at a too high, low of a weight class. Yeah. And probably the myth is where to make weight, you'd have to eat absolutely nothing. Yeah. After eat chicken and broccoli, plain food, but you actually can eat, decent food and still make the weight. So trying to dispel them myths.
Yes. So that's one of the things I've noticed on your Instagram page is that the food you put on, or like the food like Amber's posting and Joe's posting, I'm like, are they not dieting? That looks well nice. Yeah. So like, where has that myth come from then? Because I thought the same, like you have to just starve yourself for a fight camp.
I think it's like lack of education. So you look at like other sports, like a football player, rugby player, there's loads of like research on like what to eat, carbohydrate recommendations, protein, but for like a combat sport athlete, there's not a lot of research. So there's more emerging stuff coming out now, and it's kind of like re-educating them like old myths where, the trainers cut weight this way, John's did it this way in the gym, and it's been passed down. It's kind of like a bit of education. I think my background too, I'm a qualified chef, so I'm always looking into like what can you do to make flavours a bit better, and like it's all about making that fight camp experience that little bit better, that 5-10%. Makes it better.
Speaking of those like very small percentages, you've mentioned that before about like if you do the refuel, the cut itself and the refuel properly, it might only be 1% difference. But on a 5, if you're on 5 rounds and it's like pure energy, that 1% at the end, I don't know what podcast you was on, I can't remember, forgive me, but you were saying that 1% might be the difference of you just slip that punch that could have knocked you out, or you land that punch that does the knockout. So it really is just getting people to understand that those tiny differences are the massive difference.
Yeah, 100%, especially at like the elite level. Example like John Haggerty fighting for the world title the other week. Like them fine margins. You get a little thing right, that could be the difference with winning or losing. Because at that elite level, just fine margins.
Like the tiniest bit. So of course you had Jonathan Haggerty, another massive name that you've worked with. You worked with Jonathan a few times now, haven't you?
Yeah, worked with John. Worked with Liam too.
That'll be a weird one for you, won't it? So guys, if you've not heard already, which if you're living under a rock, the biggest UK Muay Thai fight potentially happening between Liam Harrison and Jonathan Haggerty, which would be insane, especially if it is in the UK. You work with them both, so what would you be able to like camp them both? Like,
do you know what? I've just pretend it's not happening, and I'm just like.
You just bury it in your head.
Yeah, just wait till it happens first. I don't want to worry about. I don't want to suffer in advance. So I don't want to share. It's a difficult situation because get on with them. But I literally have no idea. No idea. I don't know. It'd be an absolutely awesome fight for the neutral, but for somebody who knows them both, it's like
yeah, of course. Yeah, a bit of a wild one for you. That's amazing. So talk to us a little bit then about the refuel, because yesterday we saw quite a lot of the fighters. They come in, they're tired, they're dehydrated. What is the best? So you spoke about this. If they just gorge and go out, which I think is very, very tempting mentally to just think, I've done the weigh-in now, I've made weight, like I can just do what I want. How do you get them to stick to it for another 24 hours and be like, it's not over yet?
Well, I think you've got to play the importance of like, you've done the whole fight camp, you've done the fight beat to the T. You just going out on that binge for that one day, you're nearly there. So like you stick to it. So I think it's also go back to the importance of like giving them a good like tasty plan for a fight camp. So if they're eating nothing but boiled rice and chicken, when it comes to post-weigh, they're like, oh my God, let's go to Nando's, let's get a pizza and all that. So it's kind of giving them good food leading up to it and educating them, like, for example, you know, if you're doing a water cut, say you lose a kilo in water, you times it by 1.5, so you give them fluid recommendations, carbohydrate recommendations, and just giving them, I think with a fighter, if you give them a plan to follow, they'll follow it, but if the ones who just weigh in and they just do it themselves, and that's why it's important to work with people like, not necessarily me, but other professionals where they'll give the advice right up until the fight day.
Yeah. 100%. That's one thing that I think it was Joe. It was definitely somebody who would work with you, and Dan McGowan as well. Dan McGowan was trying to. It was Dan McGowan actually, saying like he'd done camps before and not used a nutritionalist, and when he used you, he said he can't imagine going back now because the difference in how he felt was just insane. So like even just that feeling of like you said, sometimes they just don't know that they can feel that good. Because for example, like it might have been a common thought that okay, I've done the cut now I need to refuel and like just eat loads of carbs and they might think that's beneficial to them. So obviously you're here to teach them, you know, a safer way to do that.
I think as well, like my job's obviously to give them the right plan to get them on weight, but also it's having that support network there where they know they've got me there where they can ring me or if they've got any concerns. I think when you do it on your own, you're winging it, and that's when like I could be the difference of someone putting 1 kilo rather than 2 kilos in water. That small little difference, and sometimes I'm like a second dad to a lot of people. So Joe's like that.
Yeah. Do you know what? He's mentioned that a few times actually, and it's been like Joe said himself. It's been a difficult camp from this time for like personal reasons. So I think you're right. It's not just having a nutritionalist is obviously amazing for the body, but like you say, amazing for the mind because what you put into your body makes a massive effect to your emotions and how you feel and stuff. So to be there as that support as well, like that's amazing. Is it often then that you work with fighters like multiple times? Is that quite a recurring thing?
Yeah, so like for example Nathan Benden, who's here today, it's our 9th camp together. So like once you work with someone that much, you just know how they work. And you also build like a really good relationship. Like you know with Joe and Nathan, I've got really good friendships with them now just through working with them, and you sort of when they win, they lose, you feel that emotion too. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was going to say like it makes you like really invested in the journey because like you've seen, it's very easy. I always say this is why I always try and like talk a little bit about like behind the scenes and what's happening, not just the fight record, because it's very easy for us to just like put a video on of Joe raising his hand tonight or whatever. But it's the bits that they don't see, like you know if they're doing the weight cut in or heat acclimation and when they're struggling and it's you who sees all of that. So you really do see like the full up and down. So those moments when you do get to celebrate the victory, or you are there for when it doesn't go their way. Yeah, I can imagine that's a pretty intense feeling. That's more than just sort of like coach and fighter now. That's like friendship.
Well, especially like you see the family, you see the kids, you're invested in their whole life, and that's what like brings back to the point where like you know if you had 2 fighters that you work with fighting together, it's that kind of like it's what you do because you're with the families, you invest in like you know the wives are cooking the meals, the girlfriends are cooking the meals, so on. So you've got that kind of investment. So I'm quite lucky because I've built so many like friendships and good relationships just from working with someone like
just from doing what you love as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like it doesn't feel like a job to me. It's like it's cool.
That's the absolute life goal, that, innit? To find a passion and make money on it. So amazing. Your reputation does speak for itself because, like I said, you've got a massive following on Instagram, and the fighters always like Dan McGowan, like all the ones that we've mentioned. Every time we interview them, they say like, I'll say to them, "How's the fight camp going?" And like, "Oh, I've done loads, but I did this one with conditioned nutrition." And the difference they feel is obviously like it speaks for itself. Talk to us a little bit about what's the next step for conditioned nutrition, because you're working with like, obviously it's amazing, but you're working with like Nathan Benden, Jonathan Haggerty, like all these massive names we've mentioned. What's the next step after those names?
So it's strange to me because I don't like to set like specific goals. I kind of one of them people where not like go with the flow, but like if you'd have said to me this time 2 years ago I'd be where I am now, I wouldn't have believed it. So everything kind of just fell into place. Like I live in Australia and I've come back and moved here, so it's like keep on going to many events, doing the good work. As long as I'm doing good work, getting people on weight, and then the results will come and the business will carry on going. Yeah?
So speaking about that, the last time I saw you just got back from Australia. We was at Vinnie Shawman's Shawman Solution Mindset event, which was incredible. and you were really struggling with like getting back to the weather. You thought it was really cold. Like, so today has been absolutely beautiful. Is it? Are you feeling a bit more acclimated now?
I don't feel acclimated at the moment. It's really warm. I'm used to like 40-degree days, and I'm like really struggling today. It's weird. But it's like nice weather. I like it. It's
amazing. So what's it like living in Australia then? Like, is it as amazing as we all think it is when we see it on Instagram? Like, is it really that beautiful?
It is. It is.
I thought coming is gonna be like, no, Lucy, like it's fine. Like,
it's a good life. It's a good life. Like, it's like the reason why I came back here because the combat sports scene's not that big over there. I live in Perth, so Perth's actually like the most remote city in the world. So it's like a 3-hour flight from anywhere. So you don't get as many events, and for me, for my business to grow, that's why I've come back home to network a bit more. But it's a cracking place to live. Golden beaches, nice weather. Yeah, it's great.
I'm happy for you, but jealous at the same time. Can we do that at the same time? So how does it work with work then? Like you say, so you're a resident in Australia, and then you come back for the gigs, or when guys have got fight camps. Is that how you do it, like between the two?
I've just decided to just come back for 6 months and go back when it's cold here.
Wow, he's got it absolutely mapped out. Not only does he know exactly what you should eat, when you should eat it, how to feel, he actually knows like what country you should be in based on what season. Peter Miller, everybody, absolutely smashing life. Listen, thanks so much for chatting to us. Just before I let you go, just tell everyone the handles for your social media.
Yeah. So, Condition Nutrition on Instagram and www.conditionnutrition.org. Probably better finding me on Instagram because I'm always active on there.
And if somebody did want to book your services, are they able to book you through Instagram?
Yeah, just message me on Instagram and then have a chat.
Absolutely. So Condition Nutrition, guys, make sure you follow him because the tips are insane. And like I say, it's not just for fighters. Like sometimes you can watch and you'll absolutely learn. Like you said, it's education. It's not just a platform for fighters. Obviously, if you're doing a fight camp, hit him up. But just the general day-to-day tips and tricks for any sort of food journey that you're on. Absolutely amazing. Condition Nutrition, guys. Thank you so much.
Here we go.